Hello fellow data friends. Let's talk about veterancy levels, how units gain and lose experience, and how fast you can get an all-elite army. Then I will quickly build an all-elite army and test the army against Russia. Afterwards, I will talk about why elite units feel underwhelming to me and present some ideas how the system could be improved. There are 5 veterancy levels: Recruit, Regular, Seasoned, Veteran, and Elite. Recruits don't get any bonuses, but the other levels get increasingly stronger perks. Both land units and naval units can reach these veterancy levels. Each unit gains and loses experience on its own. When a recruit unit reaches 100 experience, it levels up to regular. Regular units also need 100 XP to level up. Seasoned units need 200 XP, and veteran units need 400 XP. There are 2 sources of experience. First, passive experience. Each unit gets 0.5 experience per week. This is modified by experience gain, like minus 25% from peasant levies or plus 100% from professional armies. Second, combat experience. A unit gets plus 10 experience when it is in combat at the weekly tick. I'm also not sure if this is a bug or not, because there are 2 tooltips with plus 5 instead of 1 plus 10 tooltip. But the battle modifier window says plus 10 as well. So probably fine. Of course you can also lose experience. Hey there, this is me during editing. I wanted to say that a unit loses experience when new manpower is recruited, except it's bugged in 1.9. This unit is seasoned and has 41 experience. Currently it has 301 soldiers. Let's watch the experience for a bit. It's steadily rising. But now the unit is fully staffed with 1000 soldiers. Units never lose experience from gaining new manpower. It worked fine in 1.8. This is quite frustrating, because this will have some implications for the rest of the video, and the video is like 80% done now. But a lot of the rest of the video will still be very relevant. Hence, I will highlight in the upper right corner when I use 1.8 footage, which I believe is working as intended. When there's no big red 1.8 in the corner, it's 1.9.6 or 1.9.7 footage. Just keep the bug in mind. Now back to the video. If a unit suffered losses, it will recruit new soldiers. The new manpower will start with 0 experience, so if half of your unit died, your unit loses half of its experience once it's fully staffed again. But this is important. It loses experience, but not already earned veterancy levels. Your units will not demote, which we can easily verify. This is an elite unit. They cannot collect any more experience, since they are already on max level. The unit has lost a lot of soldiers. And when new soldiers arrive, the experience is reduced, but the unit stays an elite unit. And this is the power of increased experience modifiers. Not only does this help your units with leveling up faster, but it also helps with saving experience. Say a recruit was in combat and suffered heavy losses. Now, when new recruits come in, the unit will also lose a lot of its current experience. But say you had plus 100% unit experience gain, then that would probably have been enough to increase the veterancy level. Your units get stronger and cannot lose the spent experience anymore. But there actually is a way to lose a veterancy level: upgrading. Whenever you upgrade a unit, this unit will be downgraded 1 level and it will lose all of its currently gathered experience. So in the worst case, you can lose almost 2 levels. Hence, you should pay some attention about the upgrade timing. Well, there's actually another way to lose veterancy: disbanding your units or using conscripts. Conscript units only exist while you raise them. Afterwards, they will disappear and their experience will as well. There are several modifiers which can impact the experience gains of your units. At first, there is your army law. National militia in mass conscription don't have an extra modifier, they get the base rates. Peasant levies get minus 25% experience per week, while a professional army gets plus 100% experience. Professional army gives the single biggest bonus. You also get plus 5% more experience once you research military drill, but it is a rather basic tech. Another potentially big source of unit experience is military assistance from another country. Getting military assistance gives plus 50% weekly experience and some other nice bonuses per treaty. But you can only receive military assistance from 2 countries at the same time, and the country giving assistance needs a bigger military. Giving military assistance increases your unit experience by 25% and there's no hard limit. As long as you can find willing weaker nations and you don't mind the ever increasing military costs, you can give military assistance and stack unit experience modifiers. Let's do some calculations about the passive experience gain. The unmodified base gain is 0.5 experience per week and elite units need 800 experience in total. So, under peasant levies, a new unit needs to gain passive experience for 41 years to reach elite status. That is a long time, where the unit is very likely getting an upgrade as well, maybe even 2. So elite units from passive gains under peasant levies is very unlikely. Using national militia or mass conscription shortens that time to 31 years, but you won't have much units under national militia anyway. Giving military assistance for one nation with national militia or mass conscription reduces the time to 24 years. But with professional army, you just need to wait 15 years to get elite units. Depending on your upgrade timing, your starting army will get elite status at some point just with professional army active. You only need 10 years with professional army and getting military assistance twice. And if you give 4 military assistance at the same time, you only need 7.7 years. And that's just with passive experience gain. Since losses reduce experience, it's probably the easiest to fight to get your armies up to seasoned or veteran, since they don't need a lot of experience to level up. If you can fight someone weaker, that should be even more favorable, since you get experience without heavy losses. Let's test our new knowledge a bit. So we start a new game as Prussia. Prussia has decent starting conditions to get an elite army fast. They start with professional army, they start with skirmish infantry and mobile artillery, so there's no need to upgrade early. They have good relations with Austria and Russia from the start, who are both stronger than Prussia. So we asked Austria for military assistance and military access for, say, 15 years, and pay with an obligation. And then we get military assistance from Russia. Both treaties are active, so we have this lovely plus 230% unit experience modifier. Then I will put down an interest in the Ottoman Empire for later use. In the meantime, I will build some ports, because I want more convoys to support our units abroad. And we research fieldworks for the defensive bonus. We also activate extra supplies for the bonuses. The interest settled, so we attack the Ottomans for a treaty port. I don't really care, I just want war. And we mobilize all units. Britain sided with the Ottomans, not cool. But no extra war goal? Fine by me. But we move the units to the front. And we are at war. Here's the first battle. Let's watch this skirmish infantry. It already reached regular level. Oh, we are bleeding money. Let's add some consumption taxes. And we have already some seasoned units. And it's just July 1836. The front unified into one bigger front. Just small scale battles. Waste of time. And Hanover left the war. While we can land invade the Ottomans, I don't know if we can sustain our army with convoys. Well, let's do it anyway. The Ottomans counter invade, nice. Oh, we are massively over our supply limit. Let's recall our units. Oh, we can't yet. But now we fought a battle, retreat. January 15th, 1837. We got veteran units. Seems like it's enough to defend Ottoman invasions. And yes, another invasion. Okay, I wouldn't mind a white peace now, I think. We could also just eat the war goals. Not yet, I think. No other invasion? Let's wait until they accept white peace. Ah, a naval invasion. Brilliant. Let's just give them the regime change on Hohenzollern. Who cares? Okay, it's the 5th of June 1838. Let's count our units. Oh, I probably should have upgraded the hussars. Too late. We have 128 units in total. 45 units are seasoned, 82 units are veterans, and 1 unit is an elite. We still get a lot of passive experience, so I will just play the game behind the scenes for, say, 4 years. Then we should have a very strong army. It's the 4th of February 1842, and most of our units are elite units now, good enough to go to war. We could attack France, but they have professional armies as well. Oh, they have a lot of veteran units in Alsace-Lorraine. They get plus 50% experience extra due to giving military assistance. So fighting them would just be about equal, right? Austria has a lot of veterans as well, because they are fighting the Ottomans, so no advantage for us as well. Russia has peasant levies, we need to fight them, I think, so we expel diplomats and lower relations. But we wait until the war in the Balkans is over. I want a fair fight. Oh, we can just withdraw from the Holy Alliance. Now we need to wait 9 months. Now we declare war against Russia. Austria will likely join. Let's mobilize armies. I don't want an actually realistic scenario, I want to test my elite units against a non-professional army. So I will switch to Austria and declare neutrality. Russia has almost 300 units, but only 147 units at our front. And we are at war. The first defensive battles are rather one-sided. Let's enact National Guard for more bonuses, because why not? And our units are pushing into Russia, quite easily. And here we can see the morale damage bonus from having elite units. Oh, a revolution, annoying. And our attack squad was repelled, sad. Russia is trying to overrun us with manpower, so we defend for now. They are sacrificing their units against our skirmish infantry. And time to push again. And we get an offensive victory. We need to stop enacting National Guard or we get a revolution. And the revolution is gone, so we enact secret police for more unit bonuses. Now we are successfully pushing into Russia again. Mind you, half my attacking forces are skirmish infantry, because I'm still using Prussia's starting military. We lost that battle, but Russia has twice as many units on the front lines than we have, and we are still pushing forward. Russia has some veteran units, but mostly seasoned units. Oh, there are even some elite units, very unexpected, but mostly seasoned units. Well, Russia was fighting in the Balkans earlier as well. Let's evaluate the war a bit. The war started in December 1843, so almost 2 years of war. We were able to conquer Kovno, and Vilna is occupied by 93%, so we basically conquered 2 states. We have 115 units at the front, Russia has 213 units. Both sides have some units in reserve, so we are slowly winning. Oh, and I didn't notice that one commander died and left one army with bad organization. My bad. At the current rate of organization loss, that happened about 2 months ago. The following is my own, very subjective opinion, how I feel about the system after making this video. And honestly, elite units feel underwhelming. It took me a bit to understand why. I mean, look at these bonuses. How can that not be good? And I am winning against an army almost twice my size, which sounds impressive, at first. While I am using the Prussian starting army, which has a lot of infantry, it is skirmish infantry against the Russian line infantry. It is a lot stronger by itself, and the veterancy bonus is then applied to a stronger base value. Also, Russia is using no organized training, while I use general training. The training rate is bugged currently, but both sides are affected by the bug and it should somewhat average out over several units. And whenever I attack, I use Helmut von Moltke, who is an expert offensive planner. Also, I get minus 10% morale loss from professional armies, and Russia gets plus 10% morale loss from peasant levies. So I am really stacking the deck here. Here's another battle. My skirmish infantry gets plus 10% from the armed forces buff, plus 10% from extra supplies, plus 30% from commander bonuses, and plus 25% from being an elite unit. All bonuses are applied to the base value for a combined plus 75% bonus. While I am attacking right now, the defense value gets plus 25% from being an elite unit and plus 30% from other sources. This is a screenshot where I was doing some test battles against France. My skirmish infantry went up to 70 defense. What I'm trying to say is that the plus 25% from elite units is just one bonus among many, which makes it less impactful than one might assume in the beginning. And you don't really get stronger by plus 25% in a sense, because we need to measure it against the veterancy of the enemy. In this battle, Russia has some elite units and many veterans and seasoned units. So if we would use the same units, the actual advantage over my enemy would be about 10% in combat stats. But I should get a lot more morale damage, right? Elite units get plus 50% morale damage, while veteran units get plus 25% and seasoned units don't get any morale damage bonuses. On the battle's modifier page, there is a morale damage modifier. I thought this average unit value represented the plus morale damage from Veterancy. But is it? And if it is that calculated correctly? So I get plus 49% and Russia gets plus 40% from average unit value. But I only have elite units, and Russia has 7 elite units, 22 veteran units, and 16 seasoned or regular units. Shouldn't I have exactly plus 50% morale damage, and Russia less than 25% morale damage? Apart from maybe having an error in the calculation for morale damage, the availability of elite and veteran units also seems like a problem to me. Russia was fighting in the Balkans and is now fighting me. Having some experienced units makes a lot of sense. But at first, I wanted to fight France. Remember, I was stacking modifiers a bit and went to war specifically to train my units. Then I looked at France and they had an all-veteran army. Yes, elite units need 800 total experience and veteran units need 400 total experience. Yes, they also get plus 155% training rate. But I did all this effort and France was just one level below me by just doing nothing. That just feels wrong. Why put in any effort, money and manpower when you can just chill and get similar results? But what can be done to improve this apart from checking the morale damage calculation? While one could of course increase the modifiers for experienced units, that does not feel like a good solution. The bonuses for elite units and veteran units already look quite strong. My opinion might be rather influenced by the European powers, who mostly have professional armies anyway. It might be quite different in Asia or America. But I think it should be harder or more engaging to get veteran and elite units. Just waiting should not be the superior option. One way to improve the system would be to limit passive experience gain, potentially based on the army law. Say, peasant levies and national militia don't get any passive experience at all. Mass conscription gets passive experience until a unit becomes a regular unit. Professional armies get passive experience until they are seasoned units. If you want to train your units further, they need actual combat experience. You could combine that with a new army training button. Army training would be essentially a mobilization during peacetime. You pay the increased costs for mobilization and you get the base attrition rate, but you get extra experience. That should be less experience than you get in actual combat, but you can level up your units on demand and don't suffer heavy losses. There would be a clear cost and payoff. Would that be perfect? Probably not. Would it be an improvement? I think so. What do you think? Both about the improvements and my assessment. I wonder if I just had too high expectations for an all-elite army and that's why I feel disappointed. If you think so, please tell me. Anyway, thanks a lot to Sulfi for supporting my channel as Data Capitalist. that is appreciated a lot. If you want to learn more about the currently bugged training rate, click on the top video. Thanks for watching, and I see you on the next one.